does. There's a new prosecutor out there, and we're going to pull the blanket off of these ones that are hiding under it and see what happens.
Very good. Very good.
Well, I don't know that there will be a difference or not. That county's always been one that has shown itself to be highly corrupt, and it hasn't changed yet. I've mentioned to Agnes several things to put in the cover letter, such as the prosecutor that was prosecuting our case was Jack Burchard, who was an attorney for the tribe prior to going and filing for that prosecutor position, and ran unopposed. And it's my understanding that he never got enough votes under state law to install him in the prosecutor position, and they just assumed it and pushed it through anyway. So that would make my conviction invalid. That in itself.
Right.
If they did that. Also, the assisting prosecutor, special prosecutor Hicks, came down from the federal courts to assist in this because he had a vendetta against Dad because Dad got his other son James off on a lesser charge or lesser sentencing time, and it irritated Hicks to no end. So Hicks, when he got this, he ran with it like a 2-year-old kid with a football that nobody's on the field but him.
Yeah.
So anyway, we exposed them by showing that they knew this Diamantois statement from the beginning, and they refused to show us the federal court search warrant for the McGinnis property because it was illegal, and because there were things on there that they didn't want us to see, that they had found the alleged murder weapon and didn't want it to be shown, so they held it and held it and held it. And on top of that, they made a mistake. Well, several mistakes, but in order, the first mistake was to allow John Dick to not have to talk to the defense attorneys until he showed up in court in the middle of trial. And he then produced his firearm that he supposedly used that night, and it was tested and this and that and stuff, and I'm quite sure that from what he said in court as his testimony, that him and Blue Millard shot at each other at close range and hit each other. That's just how it is. It's not my fault, it's theirs. They were told not to be there that night, and they refused to do that. So they were disobeying orders, and in the process had this happen to them. One shot the other, and the other shot back.
Right.
So on top of that, then we also have Mel Tenasket, the tribal chairman, telling the tribal newspaper at the time in October, what was it, September, we had a re-edition of that here just last year, and I caught it and cut it out and sent it to Agnes, where he told the tribal newspaper that he had of the tribe's money to have this trial go on, because a shot against the tribal police was a shot against the tribal council, blah, 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 blah. And he knew about this Timantois statement and also the Sheila Cleveland statement that they had went to her and asked her to press charges against us, and she refused, saying that the first shots came from where the tribal police had positioned themselves. And the Timantois statement backs that up. They back each other up. And they knew about the Timantois statement because the other officers, of course, in the legal community, they're going to tell each other everything that they know. And they knew that Timantois had seen that, and the 5 others. And so during our trial, they conveniently had it so that he was held in tribal jail. And nothing was said about that. So we're raising that issue as a Brady violation. And so the search warrant that they never produced. And I've got a trump card about the 3 shells that came out of the 9mm. And the fact that the 9mm cannot shoot a projectile that came out of Lou Millard. It's highly impossible because the most that they can, the most that the 9mm can push out the barrel, any barrel, is 115 grains, and that was 150 or more that came out of Lou Millard.
Right.
It was longer than a 9mm projectile. So anyway, they just flashed the lights, and I gotta go. So take care of you.
Okay, I will, Patrick, and thank you for your thoughts. But and I hope and pray something breaks loose on your case. It's just been so long,
Yeah. Well, one last thought. There was a man with a hernia who said to his doctor, Galdernia, when improving my middle, be sure you don't fiddle with matters that do not concern you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I've never
Bless
heard.
you. Bless you. Have a good evening.
Bless you, Patrick.
Get well. Get
okay.
better.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.